Welcome back. Well, the scramble is on for Republicans to come up with a new spending bill to keep government funded and open past tomorrow's deadline. The current bill was scrapped after President-elect Donald Trump and Doge founders Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy torched the package online. Trump wants a new bill to increase the debt ceiling and not include any unrelated spending measures or Democrat giveaways. He also says anybody who votes for this current deal should be primaried. The original bill would have given Congress its first raise since 2009 and allows them to opt out of the Affordable Care Act. It also includes a provision allowing Congress to block subpoenas for House data. It would have funded a State Department agency accused of censoring Americans. The Doge agency flexed its muscles on these negotiations, with Elon Musk calling the bill criminal. Pennsylvania Congressman Dan Muser joined me earlier on the show. Watch.
Doge swept in, Doge did a job, Joe alerted the American people, hey, look what's going on here, and this pay raise. I mean, glad that it hasn't been one since, 2009, but the optics and everything else is just totally inappropriate right now. That should be discussed with the American people. They're the ones paying us. Doge did its job.
All of this sparking some on Capitol Hill to consider removing Mike Johnson as the Speaker. Two Republicans basically are circling the wagons, telling Fox News Digital the names being floated to replace Johnson are Majority Whip Tom Emmer, Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan, and Florida Congressman Byron Donalds. The critics are circling. The vote is January 3rd for the Speaker of the 119th Congress. Joining me now is Florida Congressman Carlos Gimenez. He's a member of the House Armed Services, Homeland Security, and China Select Committees. By the way, Congressman, you don't have to be a member of Congress to become Speaker. Kevin McCarthy could actually come back and do it.
Yeah, you could have anybody can become Speaker, and then it would be ironic, right?
It would be ironic. Is this really what's going on right now? I mean, you know, the shooting within the tent is something that a lot of people don't want to say, but is this really happening right now that people are questioning Mike Johnson because of this blow-up of the bill?
I'm sure the people are questioning the Speaker, but I think that we need to stay the course. Look, Mike Johnson was chosen for a reason. I mean, we had chaos when Kevin McCarthy was taken out, and Mike Johnson was somebody that all the different factions could support, and I don't see it being any different right now. It's just going to take a person like Mike Johnson to unite us, and that we all the different factions can say, yeah, we trust him. I trust Mike Johnson, and even though this deal may have blown up, I think that look, we're going to have to fund the government somehow. We're going to get to a place where it's funded, and then we'll move on, and then we see what happens on January 3rd.
So President Trump said he's totally against this proposed CR. He said it would make it easier to hide the records of the corrupt January 6th committee. He also said the most foolish and inept things ever done by congressional Republicans was allowing our country to hit the debt ceiling in 2025. Trump and Vance put out that statement. It was a mistake and is now something that must be addressed. So how do you feel about what President Trump is saying about this CR? And where do you go from here? Will you see a clean bill by tomorrow?
Don't know. I mean, look, I actually support what the president put out. I think that it's a good idea. We need to raise the debt ceiling, because if not, we're going to have that battle next year. Might as well get that battle done now and kind of clean the slate. He wants a continuing resolution, keep funding the government, and he wants to give aid to our farmers that desperately need it, and then disaster relief to those areas that also desperately need it. So I'm good with what the president is trying to do. The question is, there are some Republicans that said they'll never vote for a continuing resolution. That means that then you have to get Democrat votes, and then that means that now you have a suspension, which means you got to give something to the Democrats. And so, look, the Speaker is it's not an easy job. You're trying to, you got all these balls up in the air, and you're trying to make them land softly. And so I don't, I feel sorry for him and the predicament, but we got to get to a place. And I say, hey, let's do the president's play. Let's get all Republicans on board, pass it under a rule, and then drop it on the Senate and see what they do. And then if somehow they don't fund the government, then it's on them.
So before we get into the battle for 2025, do you believe we'll have a government shutdown after midnight tomorrow night?
I don't know. Look, I was asked that a couple days ago. I thought no. I thought that we were on a path, even though some of the provisions of the CR were some things that people did not like. It was where we were because there were some Republicans that would never vote for a CR. And so once again, when you do that, then you got to go to the Democrats. And obviously, you got to get a bunch of their votes. That means you're going to have to give some things up. If we can stay together, if we can say, okay, this is the path that Republicans, all of us, some of us have to hold our noses, but all of us, then we can pass it under a rule. We don't need Democrats. Then we lay it on Chuck Schumer's desk. And if he closes the government, then it's on him. But we've done our job.
All right, now to the road ahead, because you've got these plans to do reconciliation, 2 reconciliation packages in 2025. Again, a debate around this. Some people don't want that. They want one gigantic bill that includes the border and taxes. I'm sorry?
I don't want to. I think that's a mistake.
You don't want to?
Nope, I want one. I think that you got to strike while the iron is hot. Go ahead and do the taxes. Go ahead and do the border. Pass one bill and get it done as soon as you can. I think the longer that delays, then it puts the tax cuts in jeopardy if you leave that out. Leave that out. So I actually disagree with some folks on that.
I mean, it's ridiculous that you would blow off what voters just voted for. They voted for 2 things, the economy and the border. So, yes, the border's a priority, but so is the economy in reining in inflation and extending those tax cuts. But you've got colleagues on the other side of this, House Freedom Caucus Chairman Andy Harris, Florida Senator Rick Scott, both getting together, sending a letter to Mike Johnson and incoming Senate Majority Leader John Thune, endorsing this 2-step reconciliation process with more than 20 other lawmakers. This would focus on borders policy first, get a win on the board after the new Congress begins and Trump is in office. The second tax policy bill would be considered later in the year. The border bill provides 4 years of funding for the wall. It hires thousands of additional border officials, increases the number of migrant holding facilities, imposes significant financial penalties on anybody living illegally in America, and it eliminates migrants' ability to receive taxpayer-funded welfare benefits. Okay, fine. That's all good, but that first reconciliation bill, they say, should also be fully offset with real spending cuts. Here's Jason Smith, chairman of the House Ways and Means, who's with you, and Utah Senator Mike Lee with me Sunday. Watch.
I believe that the one package is the quickest and best approach to deliver these victories for the American people.
So you say maybe there's an opportunity to do one gigantic omnibus-type package and put it all in there, border, defense, energy, and taxes.
And spending cuts. I believe it is the quickest approach and the best approach.
Well, look, we do plan to get to the extension of the tax cuts. And so the thought is we can do 2 in a year, but the first one involving securing additional funding for border security, possibly some defense spending, while simultaneously providing what are called pay-fors, offsets to any spending, will also be in the package.
So that's the debate for the year ahead. Where does this play out? How does this play out, you think?
Look, I'm the piano player. I don't write the music, okay? And so, like I said, I'd like to see it won. Why? Because you know what? The president on January 20th can take a lot of the measures to control our border. He can do with a snap of the finger as he issues new executive orders. That's been our argument all along, that we really didn't need all that money because most of the problem was caused by Biden changing executive orders. Well, President Trump can restore those executive orders. We can stop the flow of immigrants into the nation. The one thing that we can't do is we got to pick them up and we got to deport them. That's going to cost money that we shouldn't have to spend.
And is it $100 billion that you need for the border bill?
I don't know what that number is right now. We do need to add. We need to get more administrative officers. We need to get more people so that we can round up the folks that shouldn't be here and deport them. That's going to cost money.
Real quick on China, Congressman. At least 17 U.S. military bases near Chinese-owned farmland reportedly seeing a surge in drone sightings in recent weeks. It's happening near bases in Hawaii, installations in Utah, California, Maine, Florida. House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCall says that he believes these unidentified drones spotted above New Jersey and New York are spies from China. Is that what you think?
I think a number of them are. I don't think all of them are. But yeah, the problem is that we don't know which are legitimate drones and which ones are doing, nefarious things. That's the problem that we have across the United States. That's something that we have to fix. And also, once we find nefarious drones, how do we take them down? We don't have that capability. We have some capability, but not enough.
All great questions there. Carlos Gimenez, we're going to be watching your work. We so appreciate your time, Congressman. Thank you.
My pleasure.
All right, we'll be right back. Stay with us.